Most people think they already know Vietnam's islands. A few famous names, a couple of postcard beaches, and that's it. But that version of the story is outdated. And honestly, incomplete. Because while some islands are exploding with resorts and crowds, others are quietly slipping under the radar, changing in ways most travelers don't notice until it's too late. Some feel frozen in time, others are transforming right in front of our eyes. And a few might surprise you so much, you'll wonder why no one talks about them at all. The truth is, the best island in Vietnam isn't just about beauty anymore. It's about timing, access, and knowing what's really happening beneath the surface. So before these places change forever, let's take a closer look at the islands that still define Vietnam's coastline. For now. Number 1. Phu Quoc. Phu Quoc didn't grow slowly. It exploded. In just a few years, quiet fishing villages turned into 5-star resorts, beach clubs, and non-stop construction. For some travelers, that's the appeal. Smooth roads, easy flights, and luxury without effort. But others say the island lost something along the way. Locals quietly talk about beaches that no longer feel public, while longtime visitors swear the island felt more alive before the boom. Still, beneath the resorts, Phu Quoc hides night markets, pepper farms, and pockets of real island life, if you know where to look. The question isn't whether Phu Quoc is beautiful. It's whether you're arriving before or after the transformation feels complete. But not every island chased development this hard. Con Dao. Con Dao feels different the moment you arrive. Not louder, not flashier, just heavier. This island carries a past that never fully lets go, and many travelers sense it without knowing why. Once defined by its dark history, Con Dao now draws people looking for quiet beaches, clear water, and something more reflective than fun. Development moves slowly here, partly by design. There are rumors that strict limits keep large resorts away, preserving the island's mood, but also keeping prices high. Some visitors call it peaceful, others say it feels intense. Either way, Con Dao isn't a place you visit casually. It stays with you long after you leave. And then there's an island with the opposite problem: Lai Sun. Lai Sun doesn't look like most islands in Vietnam, and that's exactly why it stands out. Formed by ancient volcanoes, its cliffs, craters, and black rock coastlines feel almost unreal. For years it stayed mostly local, known more for garlic fields than tourism. Lately, that's starting to change. Social media buzz has sparked curiosity, and some fear Lai Sun could become the next overexposed hotspot. Infrastructure is still basic, which keeps crowds away, for now. Those who make the trip talk about raw beauty, and a pace that hasn't been polished yet. The question is, how long that balance can last once attention really arrives. But volcanic landscapes aren't the only surprise Vietnam offers. Now let's talk about the Cham Islands. They sit just off the coast of Phu Yen, but honestly, they feel like a completely different country. What surprises most visitors isn't really the water or the coral, it's actually the rules. See, plastic bans, controlled tourism, and strict limits on development have reshaped the islands in ways that, well, few people expected. Some travelers praise the effort, calling it refreshing. Others feel restricted, maybe even a little inconvenienced. Either way, the result is clear water, healthier reefs, and a slower rhythm that really resists mass tourism. The Cham Islands quietly prove that protection can change an island's future, even if not everyone agrees on the trade-offs. But not every traveler is, looking for structure. Let's move on to the Nam Du Islands. Nam Du didn't become famous through guidebooks. It spread through whispers, photos, and word of mouth. For a while there, it honestly felt like a secret shared only among backpackers and curious locals. Then, of course, the hype hit. Prices jumped, homestays multiplied, and boats started arriving full. Early visitors say the charm came from simplicity. Empty beaches, fresh seafood, and nights with almost no noise. That feeling hasn't disappeared, but it's definitely harder to find now. If you rush through Nam Du, you'll miss it completely. But if you slow down, explore the smaller islands nearby, the magic still reveals itself, quietly and really on its own terms. And just nearby, another island chain tells a different story. This is the An Thoi Archipelago. The An Thoi Islands sit just south of Phu Quoc, but honestly, they feel like a test run for its future. Cable cars glide overhead, speedboats shuttle visitors in waves, and the views are, well, undeniably stunning. Yet opinions are split. Some travelers love the convenience and the postcard scenery. Others feel the experience moves too fast, almost rushed. Snorkeling spots shine, but time is limited. Locals say the islands are caught between nature and mass appeal, unsure which direction will win. And Thoi isn't ruined, but it's clearly in transition. And what it becomes next really depends on how quickly development keeps pushing forward. Meanwhile, some islands stayed quiet by force, not choice. Bin Ba Island is often called the island that stayed authentic by accident. For years, access was restricted, and that alone kept mass tourism away. Even now, stories circulate about sudden rule changes and unclear permissions, which still make some travelers hesitate. What you get instead is simplicity: narrow roads, modest homes, and seafood so fresh it barely leaves the water. There are no luxury resorts here, and that's the point. Visitors who come expecting convenience usually leave disappointed. Those who come curious leave impressed. Bin Ba feels untouched, not because it tried to be, but because it was never fully open to begin with. And then there's an island shaped by wind and isolation, Phu Quoc. Phu Quoc feels like the edge of the map. The island is constantly shaped by wind, waves, and wide open space, giving it a raw beauty that isn't softened for visitors. Getting there isn't easy. Ferries are unpredictable, and rough seas regularly cancel plans, which is exactly why Phu Quy stays quiet. Photographers love it for dramatic coastlines and empty roads, while casual tourists often hesitate after hearing the logistics. Life here moves fast and slow at the same time, dictated by weather more than schedules. Phu Quy doesn't try to please you. It rewards patience and filters out everyone else. And for those willing to go even smaller, Khu Lao Khao. Khu Lao Khao is barely more than a speck in the sea, and that's its entire appeal. There are no hotels, no nightlife, and almost no shade. Most people come for a few hours, swim in unreal blue water, take photos, and leave. Staying longer isn't really an option, and that keeps the island exactly as it is. The risk, though, is visibility. Places this small can vanish from travel maps as quickly as they appear. Khu Lao Khao isn't a destination you plan a trip around. It's a reminder that some islands are meant to be experienced briefly, not consumed. But timing can change everything. Number 10. Deep Sun. Deep Sun became famous for one reason: a narrow sandpath that lets you walk between islands, with the ocean on both sides. Photos made it look effortless. Reality is different. Timing decides everything here. Arrive too early or too late, and the magic disappears underwater. Many visitors leave confused, wondering what they missed. Those who get it right experience something almost unreal, like standing inside the sea itself. Deep Sun isn't about comfort or activities. It's about a fleeting moment that lasts less than an hour. Miss it, and the island feels ordinary. Catch it, and it feels unforgettable. But some islands don't rely on moments at all. Quick note, I've left links in the description to different websites for flights, hotels, and island tours, in case you want to explore any of these places further. Feel free to check them anytime, and let's keep going. Number 11. Hon Son. Hon Son sits quietly between bigger, louder names, and that's exactly how it likes it. There are no massive resorts, no theme attractions, and no rush to impress. What draws people here is movement, riding a motorbike around the island, stopping wherever the road meets the sea. Beaches appear without signs, and sunsets feel unclaimed. Travelers often describe Hon Son as what Vietnam's islands felt like a decade ago. Interest is growing, but slowly, almost cautiously. It's the kind of place where nothing feels staged yet. And that's what makes people nervous. Once places like this get noticed, they rarely stay the same. Not all surprises come from the south. Number 12. Co Tu. Co Tu surprises people who think Vietnam's islands all feel the same. Sitting in the north, it has a sharper edge, cooler winds, rougher seas, and beaches that feel more dramatic than tropical. On clear days, it's stunning. On others, weather shuts everything down. That unpredictability splits opinions. Some travelers call it underrated and refreshing. Others leave frustrated by canceled boats and gray skies. Development is creeping in, but nature still sets the rules here. Co Tu rewards flexibility and patience. If you arrive expecting guaranteed sunshine, you'll be disappointed. If you come open-minded, it might quietly become your favorite island. And nearby, another island keeps its distance from attention. Cat Ba. Cat Ba has always lived in Ha Long Bay's shadow, and for years that actually worked in its favor. It was the quieter alternative, less polished, more relaxed. But you know, that gap is closing fast. Hotels rise higher, tours run tighter schedules, and crowds spill over from the bay. Some folks say Cat Ba is losing its charm. Others argue it's still the best balance between access and nature in the north. Hidden beaches, jungle trails, and limestone cliffs still exist, but you have to work harder to find them. Cat Ba isn't ruined, it's just changing. And whether that change feels exciting or disappointing depends on what you're hoping to find. But if silence is what you want, there's another island nearby, Quan Lan. Quan Lan feels like a pause button. Long beaches stretch without crowds, and honestly, the loudest sound most days is just the wind. Unlike nearby islands, it never rushed into tourism, and that hesitation really shows. The island has history tied to ancient trade routes, but today it's the emptiness that leaves an impression. Some travelers love the isolation, others find it too quiet, almost unfinished. There are rumors of future resort projects, but for now, development stays minimal. Quan Lan isn't trying to entertain you. It offers space, stillness, and time, things that feel pretty rare on Vietnam's coast. Far to the south, the mood shifts completely. Hon Tre. Hon Tre sits just offshore from Nha Trang, but it feels worlds apart, and not always in the way people expect. This island embraced large-scale tourism early, filling its coastline with resorts, cable cars, and theme parks. For families and first-time visitors, it's easy and polished. For others, it feels manufactured, almost disconnected from island life. Beaches are clean, services are smooth, and nothing is left to chance. That's either a dream or a deal-breaker. Hon Tre isn't about discovery. It's about convenience. And whether that feels relaxing or disappointing depends entirely on why you came in the first place. Nearby, a quieter alternative tells a different story. 16. Whale Island. Whale Island feels like it's operating on a different clock. There's no rush, no noise, and no pressure to do anything at all. Electricity is limited, Wi-Fi is unreliable, and honestly, that's intentional. Travelers come here to disconnect, or they don't come at all. The eco-focused setup scares off casual visitors who want comfort and nightlife. But for those who stay, the reward is simplicity. Calm water, quiet mornings, and nights without distractions. Whale Island doesn't offer entertainment, it removes it. And that can be surprisingly uncomfortable, or exactly what people didn't realize they needed. But slowing down doesn't always mean going off-grid. 17. Hon Tam. Hon Tam offers something many islands struggle to balance: control without feeling fake. Located near Nha Trang, it's carefully managed, from clean beaches to organized activities. The island is best known for its mud baths and calm shoreline, attracting visitors who want relaxation without chaos. Some critics say the experience feels curated, almost too smooth. Others appreciate knowing exactly what they're getting. Hon Tam doesn't pretend to be wild or untouched. It focuses on comfort and order, and it does it well. But when control goes further, the experience can change completely. 18. Phu Yen's Hidden Islands. Phu Yen doesn't promote its islands, and that's why most people miss them. Instead of one famous name, there's a quiet cluster scattered along the coast, often confused or grouped together by visitors who never learn their differences. What they share is raw beauty, rocky shores, clear water, and almost no tourist infrastructure. Information is limited, signage is rare, and getting around can feel like guesswork. For some, that's frustrating. For others, it's the appeal. These islands aren't polished or packaged. They exist outside the usual travel circuit, waiting for travelers who are willing to explore without instructions. And then there's an island that almost no one recognizes by name. 19. Bin Hung. Bin Hung often gets reduced to a quick boat trip, and that's where most people go wrong. Day visitors rush in, snap photos of the clear water, eat lunch, and leave, missing the island's real rhythm entirely. Staying overnight changes everything. Evenings are quiet, seafood stalls fill with locals, and the island finally breathes. Accommodations are simple, but that's part of the charm. Interest in Bin Hung is growing, Yet mass tourism hasn't taken over. For now, it sits in a rare middle ground, known but not overwhelmed. And that balance is exactly what makes it worth slowing down for. And finally, an island many people confuse with another. 20. Con Son, Kianjiang. Con Son in Kianjiang is often overlooked simply because people mix it up with Con Dao. But the two couldn't feel more different. This island is smaller, quieter, and rooted in everyday life. Fishing boats line the shore, families share the same routines they've kept for generations, and tourism feels secondary, not the focus. That confusion has kept crowds away, giving Con Son time to exist on its own terms. Visitors who come here don't find luxury or nightlife, they find rhythm, routine, and honesty. Con Son isn't trying to impress anyone, and that's exactly why it still feels real, for now. When people ask for the best island in Vietnam, they're usually asking the wrong question. Beauty is easy to find. What's harder is timing. Some of these islands are opening up fast, reshaped by development and attention. Others stay quiet because getting there is inconvenient, uncomfortable, or uncertain. If you enjoy travel content that goes deeper than surface-level lists, consider subscribing. New videos like this come out regularly, breaking down places before they change. And if this helped you plan or rethink a trip, feel free to share it with someone who's thinking about Vietnam. Vietnam's islands aren't frozen in time. They're changing, sometimes quietly, sometimes overnight. So if one of these places speaks to you, don't wait for it to become perfect. Visit while it still feels like itself.